3 videos ago, we started reading the regime bullish, bearish, neutral as an observable state of the tape. Then the risk gauge, a single score that composites 6 public signals into one read. Then the macro calendar, which scheduled events reliably change how a trading day behaves. 3 separate reads, useful on their own. But every morning a trader still has to walk across them, check the regime, check the gauge, check what's on the calendar, and assemble a single picture before the session starts. There's a surface on ArcAlpha that does that assembly for you, 3 times a day, in about 3 minutes. It's called the Unified Market Brief. This video walks through what it is, the 3 editions, what goes into each one, and how to use it without letting it do your thinking for you. The brief is a short audio recording with a matching transcript. Each one runs about 3 minutes. You can listen, you can read, or you can do both at once. Same narrator every time. Same voice across all 3 editions every trading day. It's meant to feel like the same ongoing conversation, not 3 disconnected updates. It lives on the markets page, right at the top. Open the page and the most recent brief is already there, audio player and transcript visible in one glance. 3 editions each trading day, morning, midday, and evening. The same narrator, the same format, different content each time. The brief is a summary of what the public indicators are showing and what's scheduled. It's a briefing, not a market call. The platform describes the environment. The trading decisions stay with the trader. Why 3 editions? Because the trading day has 3 phases and each one needs a different briefing. Edition 1 is the morning brief. It publishes before the open. The job of the morning brief is to set the stage, what happened overnight, where the indicators sit going into the session, which scheduled events are on the day's calendar, and which setups on the platform are building toward an alert threshold. It's the pre-session context pass. Edition 2 is the midday update. It publishes in the middle of the session. Its job is to describe what just happened, which alerts fired in the morning, how the indicators have shifted since the open, whether a scheduled event has moved the tape, whether institutional flow is convergent or divergent with the morning read. Edition 3 is the evening brief. It publishes after the close. Its job is the recap plus the setup for tomorrow, which breakouts completed the day with conviction, how the risk gauge looks now versus how it opened, and which names are building toward alerts heading into overnight and the next session. So 3 editions answering 3 different questions. Morning asks what might happen, midday asks what's happening now, evening asks what just happened and what's setting up next. Same voice, similar runtime, same structure. So as a listener, you're not relearning the format 3 times a day. It's one conversation across the trading day. Which brings us to the obvious question, what actually goes into each brief? The brief weaves together 4 streams of content: indicators, alerts, institutional flow, and events. Indicators are the market intelligence layer you already know. The regime read, the risk gauge composite. The state of the tape, risk on, risk off, or somewhere in between. The brief tells you where those indicators sit right now and whether they've shifted since the last edition. Alerts are the platform's pattern alerts from the scan system. What fired today? What's close to firing? What's building toward an alert threshold? Named as patterns and conditions, not as individual buy and sell calls. Institutional flow is the read on where notable institutional interest is showing up. When large-scale flow is converging with the technical picture, the brief calls that out. When it's diverging, it calls that out too. The narration uses the language of convergence and divergence, describing the pattern, not the raw transaction type. Events are the scheduled items from the macro calendar: Fed days, jobs reports, inflation releases, earnings. What's today? What's tomorrow? What's the next meaningful one this week? The brief is context-aware. If nothing meaningful has changed on a given indicator, it doesn't mention it. You don't get a ceremonial checklist. You get the parts of the picture that are actually worth a trader's attention right now. Practically, the brief is a listen while you plan artifact. You play it while the coffee is brewing. You play it while the market opens. You play it at the end of the day while you're reviewing charts. It doesn't ask for your full attention the way a chart does. The brief doesn't replace chart work. It replaces the 10 or 15 minutes you'd otherwise spend manually walking across the indicators, the calendar, and the flow surface to get your bearings. That manual walkthrough is still available. The brief just does it for you faster. Nothing in the brief tells you what to trade. It tells you the environment. Your specific setup goes on top of that environment. Every listener gets the same brief. The same words, the same audio, the same schedule. There's no personalization, no recommendations tailored to anyone's account, no adjustments based on position sizes. It's a broadcast, not a consultation. The right way to use it is as the TOP of your process, not the end. The brief tells you what kind of day this is. Your chart work decides whether you trade, what you trade, and how. The brief is part of the paid tier feature set on ArcAlpha. If you're on a paid plan, the brief player appears at the top of the markets page with the full transcript underneath. On the free tier, the slot shows a locked teaser, the schedule is visible, the content is not. Free users can still build the same environmental read themselves from the individual indicator surfaces on the markets page. The brief just does it for them pre-assembled. So the brief isn't a feature you unlock to get information nobody else has. It's a time saver that ties the same public indicators together into a narrated briefing. A convenience layer for traders who'd rather listen than assemble. So that's the unified market brief. 3 editions a day, narrated 3 or so minutes each, weaving indicators, alerts, institutional flow, and scheduled events into a single conversation about the day's environment. The platform surfaces the assembly, you decide what to do inside it. Next video, the last piece of track 2. Fundamental health, the durability grade that sits on every stock on the platform as a complementary read alongside the technical one. This is educational content and is not a recommendation to buy or sell any security.